Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about Supernatural episode 1410 titled Nihilism, which premiered Thursday, January 17th, 2019 on the CW. Happy New Year, guys. So excited to talk about this episode. It's a huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen this already, please go do so first, and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. It's about 20 minutes after the episode is aired. I would have immediately started recording after the episode ended, but I got a phone call right afterwards, so now I'm here. So I'm gonna try to do this in 15 minutes because there's just so much to talk about and just so much things to go into deeper for. So 15-minute clock has started, so let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline wise, this pretty much continues where 1409 ended. So it's still December 24th for them. So there's that episode reminder. I guess you can kind of say that we really focus on Michael taking control back from Dean. So we do see Jensen playing Michael once again. So from that, we get the episode breakdowns. There's two storylines, but they're both very connected with each other. I guess you could say the main one was saving Dean, and the second was kind of evading the army that was trying to stop them from saving Dean. So with saving Dean, we get to see more of the journey of trying to break Michael's hold over Dean. We also get to see a peek into the world that Michael has created for Dean to live in so that he would stop resisting. And so now instead of having Dean drown in his trauma, which results in him resisting Michael's hold over him, he's now put Dean in a world of contentment where it actually looks like the perfect world for him, yet suitable for Dean, where he's running his own bar. It's like the Roadhouse. It's still a bar for hunters. He's owning it. He might get some monsters here and there. He still has, in his head, Sam and Cass go out to different hunts while Dean stays behind. So for him, it's his own world of contentment. And that's why he doesn't resist, because he believes it's the real world, even though he's living the same day over and over again, or the same sort of events. But anyways, I'll get back into that later. But the second storyline with evading the monster army, we have to remember that the monsters were ordered to infect the people of Kansas City at the snap of Michael's fingers. Once Michael got moved to the bunker, those monsters got new orders to get to the bunker and kind of kill anyone, infect anyone along their path, to get them, well, pretty much to get them to stop Michael from losing control once again. So in the end, we do see the monsters fighting inside the bunker to try to get to him. So there's that. Now, the last scene of the episode, I will say, is that we get a visit from Billy, and she reveals that her reading room that has all these different books that describe all the different ways that people would die. She explains that all of them have now changed to have the same ending, and that is with Michael breaking free and burning the world. But however, there is one book that is different, and she manages to hand that book to Dean. He reads it and he gets very emotional over what's inside the book. He doesn't know what to make of it. He doesn't know what to do with this piece of information, and she just leaves it at that. So that's one hell of a way to end the mid-season premiere. I don't know if I misunderstand it wrong, if all of Dean's books have changed to be that one end, to be Michael breaking free and the world burning, because as we know, Dean has lots of books of all the many ways that he could die. I believe, if I remember correctly, or if she meant all the books of everybody in the world have changed to the point that it now ends with Michael breaking free and burning the world. So there is that. But tidbit-wise, we do find out that the Reapers take shifts in regards to watching over the Winchesters. Instead of seeing Jessica, again, we get introduced to Violet. I don't know if it's just the Winchesters they take shifts for, or if it's all the Reapers. But there's that. We do have a comment about Garth still being tied up in the trunk of the Impala. Also comment that the trunk is massive, since Sam wanted to put both Garth and Michael in the back of the trunk before they got teleported via Reaper air. So there's that. Also, we see that Michael's control over the monsters seem to have disappeared now that Dean has taken control back and trapped Michael down inside of him, which I will get back to in a moment. And also, we do find out a little bit more about why Michael wants to burn the world. And that is because when Michael, back in his world, in the Apocalypse world, when Michael and Lucifer decided to destroy the world over there. They thought they would do it and it would cause God to come back running to stop them, and that way they would get answers for why he abandoned them before, so and whatever. But when he didn't, and Michael came to this world, he found out that God, Chuck, is a writer, and that all these worlds were just different drafts for Chuck, for him to abandon and move forward from. So now Michael is determined to burn every single world until he catches up to Chuck, so that he could kill him. So that's a very extensive plan. And I think if any of the archangels is able to do it, I think Michael would be the one capable. But what's really weird is the fact that for my story of my fanfiction story crossover, Supernatural Crisis on Earth X, where I cross over Supernatural with the Arrowverse, it's pretty much two shows that have the idea of multiple worlds in them, right? So in my head, I'm already working on chapter 5 and everything, but in my head, I had it set up that if it's multiple Earths and there's multiple sets of angels, which we know with Supernatural, then is it possible that there's multiple gods, multiple Chucks, or is there only one? And maybe he just rotates between the worlds when he visits, or maybe he doesn't visit at all. So I was always contemplating on which fact it would be, and Michael in this episode kind of confirmed it for me that it is canon for the fact that that it is one God among all the different worlds. So that was a great tidbit for me to figure out. But there's that. Moving on to death tally or end tally, I would have to say that I guess it's not confirmed deaths. The hunters that went up against the monsters in the bunker, the ones that got slashed and stuff, I don't know if they were dead or if they just got infected. So they're kind of up in the air for that. Same goes for the people of Kansas City with all the attacks and stuff. So there is that. But let's move on to most shocking moment of the episode. I will have to say, my most shocking would have to be Dean's reaction to Billy showing him the one different death book that doesn't result in Michael breaking free from Dean and burning the world to the ground. Dean's reaction, like, despite him trying to hold it back, the fact that you could see his eyes getting misty, you could see that the words on that page really affected him, has me very worried about what is in that book. Now that I'm thinking about it, it really, if you watch Avengers Infinity War, right, when Doctor Strange, he goes through all the infinite possibilities of the future, and there's like, I think it was over 1,000 different ways that Thanos wins, but there was only one way where he doesn't. It feels like that moment right now of all the different possible ways that have now been stripped to show that Michael breaks free and burns the world. There's only one book that says differently. It feels like that moment. And Dean's reaction to that has me shocked. Also, the fact that they're also tying it into the whole Thanos thing. That's just freaking crazy. So kudos right there as well. But yeah, pretty much on a side note, Jensen did a fantastic job in this episode, both playing Dean in the fantasy world, being Michael, being Dean when he's confronting Billy, and like, so many different versions of him. But it's just also playing himself, also playing the two characters face to face to each other. That's also something as well too, something he hasn't done since episode 504, when Dean took a trip to the future and confronted his future self. I'm not going to count when it's Dean and Michael with that whole mirror thing in 502. But yeah, I'm rambling, but there we go. Let's move on to top 3 favorite moments. First one has to be the fake world that we got inside Dean's head. Pretty much the whole idea of Dean owning Rocky's bar. I like that because we got to see what Dean's version of a good life would be, because it's definitely very different from what he had envisioned back in season 5 and season 6, and that was living the white picket fence life with a family and maybe a pet and stuff. It's very different from now, where he's now owning a bar, has hunters going around, still hunting from time to time and defending himself and stuff. But it's very different. It's very interesting. It was also great to see Pamela Barnes back, and being part of Dean's fake world, how it's the two of them running this place, or it seems, or she works for him, but still being a buddy, alluding to the fact that he wants her, which he cannot have her type thing. But it was definitely great to see her. Plus, also, we do get flashbacks of when we first meet Pamela, when she was first blinded by Castiel in episode 401, 10 years ago. We also did the same thing when we see her death scene. I believe it was 416, correction up on screen. But again, it was 10 years ago. We haven't seen Pamela in 10 years. How crazy is that right now, right? She still looks fantastic. But it was just great to see the dynamic between her and Dean. Even if it wasn't in this fake world, it was still something I wish we could have seen. When she was alive. So there's that. Also, just the trip into Dean's world was very cool, because we got to hear many, they were all very jumbled, but we do hear many prominent quotes from Dean through Castiel's search to trying to find the correct memory of Dean. I mean, I heard the quote from 310 when Demon Dean in the dream is telling him, this is what you'll become, when telling Dean that one day you'll become a demon type thing. There's also in 316 when Dean is in hell and he's shouting, somebody help me, Sam. That whole last thing of the season finale, I heard that as well. I also heard the part in 1323 when Dean is trying to fight Michael taking control over him, and he says, we've had a deal, type of deal too. So it was just, yeah. And then we also see some good memory quotes, like bring me some pie or get me some pie. Then that version, I think it was from season 2. But it was just great to get flashbacks in that type of sense. I mean, visual flashbacks are great too, but like to get the audio flashbacks in a way was very nostalgic for me, and pretty cool when I got to pick up a few of them and remember where it's been said. So that was pretty cool there. It was also interesting to get Sam and Castiel's interpretation, hearing all that stuff too. Sam commenting on the fact that Dean thrives in trauma. That's a very bad thing to say, but it's so very true. So he knows to fight back against stuff like that. He knows that he's strong, and then to kind of realize that, no, don't go for the bad memories, which are a lot, but go through the good ones, because that would be where Michael would want to suffocate Dean and keep him on ice type of thing. So that was pretty cool there. Also, another favorite of mine, also tied in with the first one, was the fact that we got parallels back to when Sam was being possessed by Gadriel in 910. I like that we got that Sam brought it up to Castiel, and Jack explained, like, when this happened, when this same thing happened to me and Dean did this, Crowley. I like that how when they went back I like that there was a difference as well too. Instead, Dean had a plan with Crowley, and they had to get to Sam, and just say the same code word, Poughkeepsie, which that means drop everything and go type of thing. And only him and Sam use that. They use that when they have to tell each other secret messages and stuff like that. It's one way that Crowley was able to prove to Sam that he was real and that he actually contacted Dean, because he used the word Poughkeepsie. And I really like that Sam also, once he remembered that word, and Dean, you could see that switch in Dean saying, like, wait, what the hell did you just say? And it's like, oh shit, he's telling me the truth type of thing. This is not just my imagination or anything like that. It was very cool to get that reaction. And then also the flood of flashbacks you get from that with his time being possessed by Michael. That was just fantastic. I'm a sucker for flashbacks, because it definitely brings the nostalgic feelings coming right back. But then also, I do like the fact that we do get a difference. Sam tried to go straight for the punch. He tried to tell Dean that this is not real. This is fake. This is just your imagination. You have to remember what's happening on the outside. Very different to the approach Dean went to in 910. But I like that we got to see the two different versions before it converged back to using Poughkeepsie as the trigger word. So I really like that there. And another favorite I had that is not related to Dean's trip into his little cage. I don't even know what to call it, but anyways, yeah. I like the fact that we got to see Jack use his powers, briefly, mind you, but we got to see it in a moment where he truly felt threatened, and that he felt he needed to protect everybody. That is like the final source. I really loved it. I always love seeing Jack using his powers like that. So, or I guess you could say that Death was the ones he killed with his powers. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, it was just great to see that. It was a little worrying when he got very weak from it afterwards, but I'll get right into that with my top 3 peeved moments. First one being the fact now that every time Jack uses his powers, it actually burns away his soul. I guess that is finally when it triggered why using Lily Sunder's way was different. I didn't realize that that was going to be the case because Michael kept talking about the fact that once your powers come back, he acted as if when Jack gets his powers back, everything will be as it was before. And there's the timer. But apparently that's not the case. And apparently every time that Jack uses his powers, it's going to burn away a bit of his soul, which is what happened to Lily. Every time she used an angelic power, that's what happened. So that has me a little worried there because I like it when Jack's all powered up. I like when he's able to help or feel more useful because I know that he's not feeling it, like he can pull his own weight type of thing. And Michael really honed in on that too as well, so that sucked. Also a peeve of mine, which I get why it's a peeve and I get why they had to do it, but I still, that curious part of me just wants to know already. And I want to know what's in that different death book that had Dean so emotional at the very end. I was kind of hoping that maybe when he opened it, maybe the last shot of the scene would have been like us being able to read what was on the page and then like just cut to black. It's like, no, I'm left wondering what the hell is in that book that had Dean reacting the way it was. So that's just a minor petty peeve because like I know like that's one way to hook you in, but I want to know now, you know? So there's that. Moving on to what will I remember most when I look back on this episode, the fact that we got a trip into Dean's head. I've definitely been waiting to see this happen. We've had this happen with Sam. We've had this happen with Castiel in season 11. So I'm glad we got to see Dean take a turn this time. So that was pretty cool there. You'd think they'd be an expert about the situation now. But let's move on to random questions very quickly. The first one being, how will Dean keep Michael trapped inside his mind? Will it truly be a mind over matter situation, or is this going to take more of a toll on Dean to try to keep him caged inside? So that's something there. That's definitely going to put a lot of pressure on him for sure. But I can't wait to see how he plays it out or how he handles it. So there's that. Second question is, if Jack were to burn through his soul, does that mean he's soulless and still alive? Or would he truly be dead once again? Because with the conversation he had with Castiel in the kitchen, he was talking about how like he doesn't want to see Jack become soulless. So that leaves me the impression that it would be possible for him to become like that. So I'm wondering if that's the case, then maybe that's what Michael meant when he was talking about Michael, or when he's talking about Jack eventually getting his powers back and always using it and then feeling like, and then always saying like how like he's not gonna feel connected to humanity or to the Winchesters anymore and stuff like that. Maybe that's because like he becomes soulless at that point, and that's why. Maybe. I don't know, that it does make sense though. So that's a question there. And the last question is, what happened to the bunker being warded against evil? How was it possible that Michael's monsters got inside the bunker if it's supposed to be warded against them? That's another question there. Or was Amara infiltrating it kind of what depowered them, those sigils, the protective sigils? So there's that question there. Or even Michael and Lucifer popping in. Did they nullify those wardings or something? Like, I don't know. But that's it. Moving on to predictions very quickly. Based off the promo for 14-11, it looks like Sam comments to Mary about Dean's sentimentality, saying that Dean hugged me today, as if that's not normal for them, which I guess kind of isn't for an everyday. And he's also saying like how Dean is being different suddenly. We also see Dean working on something and him saying that he thinks only things will end one way type of thing. And we also see the return of Lucifer's vessel, Nick. So it's been a while since we've seen him. But the last time we saw him, he tried to make contact with Lucifer in the MT. So that's going to be something there. But based off the synopsis for the episode, it reads that Dean spent some bonding time with Mary and Donna, which I'm excited for. And also, Nick finally finds the answers he has been searching for. And then Sam is left to make an unimaginable choice. Ooh. That honestly doesn't give me anything to go by. So, like, that's, like, amazing as well. But I definitely can't wait for Dean to spend some time with both Mary and Donna. I can't wait for Mary to meet Donna. So, yeah, that's going to be awesome for sure. But any predictions based off of that? Well, I'm really wondering what the different death book is all about. I'm worried that it's going to state something about Dean sacrificing himself and Michael in order to save the lives of everyone on Earth. I really hope it doesn't come down to that. Dean really deserves his happy ending, if not maybe his version of of the life that he had Michael created, like with him owning a bar or him running a place like the Roadhouse and stuff. I mean, like Dean, I could see Dean living out the rest of his life like that, even maybe. Like, he deserves that. I really don't want him to sacrifice himself, but that last book makes me think that either he's going to sacrifice himself or someone on the team is going to have to die as well. Or I don't know. It's just, I have a really bad feeling about what that different book is. So there's that. But also, spoilers for the 300th episode, which is in like 2 weeks, on February 7th. But it has been revealed that John Winchester and the original Zachariah are both meant to return for the milestone episode. It's so exciting. Also, Entertainment Weekly did a cover story about the milestone. It's supposed to be issue number 1546, supposed to be released on January 25th, so next Friday, or next week, I should say. So that's exciting there. You got 4 different covers. You got one with Dean, one with Sam, one with Castiel, and then you got one with the Winchester family. You got Sam and Dean with Mary and with John. I am so excited for this episode, because then when you go find the interview that they did on that photo shoot for it, they're talking about how John's return is very emotional and very much gives the closure that Sam and Dean needed from their father, but also from Mary, who had her time with John cut short. And I'm just excited to see where John has been this whole time after he escaped from hell, right? Like, he's been in heaven, right? Like, I want to believe that. So I'm just so excited to see that happen. So we'll have to wait and see about that. Also, 1411 does fall on January 24th, and as we all know, that is Dean's birthday. It's actually going to be Dean's 40th birthday, so I'm a little excited that we get Dean spending time with Mary and Donna for it. I kind of want it to be a birthday-centric episode, or a reference to it being his birthday, but I doubt it's going to be, because this episode was set in December 24th. But that's something right there. So keep that at the back of your minds. But otherwise, guys, that is pretty much all I have to talk about. What did you guys think of the episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Please let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and predictions about the mid-season premiere. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, GIFs, synopses, news, all that good stuff. All found in one place. Go check that out. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. But you probably did already, meant WordPress. Check out my WordPress account. Link for that would be down below. Anything I post online is connected to WordPress, more organized, more detailed, but still a work in progress, so please keep that in mind. Also, last thing, if you want a detailed recap of the episode, a play-by-play, if you will, check out my live journal entry link down below. It's more of to keep things in order for me, but you have jot-noted summaries for the episode with in-moment thoughts and questions that might have popped up as I was typing it up as I watched the episode for the first time. That's when I do it. So check that out if you liked. I've been doing it since season 6. Don't know if I'm ever going to stop unless the show stops, but it'll definitely continue to the end of this season. But yeah, if it helps you out, by all means, glad for it to help. But definitely it helps until other transcripts are up on the internet. So there's that. I'll stop rambling now. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next week to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.